So one of the games that I play is World of Warcraft, and whenever I'm in the game, I'm often thinking about how different each one of the characters that I play feels. Well, I'm a gamer, and I'm an animator, so I wanted to find out why they feel different. So I recorded 3 different races: walking, an orc, a dwarf, and a gnome. And here you can see I've done this, and I've spun the camera around as I've been doing this. And you can feel that they're very different characters. I mean, they look different, obviously, but they feel different too. Again, why are they different? So I thought I'd start off with a walkCycle. Just a very basic, generic walkCycle. And I'm using the ultimate rig, the bony ultimate rig. You can get several different ones. This guy's got some really awesome rigs for body mechanic animation. The 2 that I'll be using here is this bony rig, and later on you'll see the beefy rig. One of the really nice things about this rig is that it's already set up in layers to turn off geometry for parts that you're not working on. So this can really help you focus on what you're doing. For example, what I'm doing here is I turned off everything except the legs and hip controls with the idea that I would animate both legs simultaneously and then offset them. Quick and easy, saves time, right? Well, no good deed goes unpunished, as they say, and one thing I wasn't thinking about is the way I like to use the main cog, center of gravity, and the hip controls. I like to use the cog for translation, up and down, left and right, etc. And I like to use the hips for rotation. The idea being that it makes your keys a little more organized, and when something goes wrong, you're not trying to troubleshoot 2 things instead of 1 thing. So at this point, I realized what I thought was the cog was in fact the hips. So I've translated what I normally rotate. And the cog was hidden when I had turned off the geometry to the rest of the rig. So the time that I saved was then actually used up fixing things so that they worked better to the way that I like to work. Oh well, I'm always learning, right? So now I've got my walkCycle here, and we'll just quickly go over the kind of golden poses for the walkCycle. So we start off with a contact pose, which is, the left and right foot in its contact position. The next main pose is the down. That's where you're putting the full weight on the front leg. And then the passing position, where the leg that doesn't have the weight on it is passing the leg that does. And the up position, this is typically the highest position that the head is going to be during the cycle. And then back to the contact. And then we just rinse and repeat for the other side. So again, we have the down, we have the passing, we have the up, and then back to the contact. Now this is a 32 frame walkCycle at 30 frames per second. So just over a second to get a continuous cycle. I'm showing 33 frames here because the 33rd frame is the exact same as the first frame. So once we go to 32, it's going to go right back and do this over again, right? Now we have our standard walkCycle. Pretty generic, no personality, nothing really exciting. But one cool thing that I can do now is I can take this animation that I have here and just copy it and paste it onto the beefy rig. So I've got both the bony rig and the beefy rig in the exact same walkCycle. Now Maya doesn't necessarily play super nice when you're trying to copy and paste animation, but a little bit of trial and error and a little tweaking once you get it done, and it's good to go.